Hey, hey, I guess we're back live. So we'll give this another shot again tonight. And why I decided to do this show, well, usually whatever show I come up with, it's because of whatever I am looking at on my Facebook feed or my YouTube videos, not mine personally, but what I watch on YouTube or whatever comes up in my news feed or story that catches my eye. And gets the juices running, inspires me to want to respond. And today is no different. I was on Facebook, and hopefully I got this correct this time and managed to save the stories that I wanted. I think I got that figured out at least, because the last couple of times that I went on to do the stories, they were gone off of my Facebook, and that really pissed me off. So now I think I know how to do it. I saved them, so I should be able to bring the story up right away, and we can go check that out. All right, Facebook. That's not it. Facebook, I said. There we go. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with this guy on Facebook. He's also, I believe, got a YouTube channel as well. But he does stand-up comedy. I know he has shows that he puts on in Atlanta and New Jersey, places like that. His name is Vic DiPotato. Pissed Off Vic DiPotato. I first came across Vic when I was working in a different area in my plant where I work at, and a guy showed me one of his videos, so I decided to start watching some of Vic because he was kind of funny. He was pissed off and venting, and that can be fun to watch for a while, but after a while you kind of get, yeah, it's the same old shit, just a different pile. I really don't need to hear someone rant and rave today, so I'll take a hard pass on that. But every now and then I check out one of his videos, and today I happened to check one out. And I thought it was quite interesting. It led me to think about it a little bit more and come up with a few other bookmarks and whatnot on the subject. So let me see first off if I can bring up old Vic. Saved. There we go. Vic DiPotato. And this one's titled Vic DiPotato. Oh, get out of here.
Too many people in this country really have no idea how the laws and our rights actually work.
Rights and Wrongs, it's titled.
Hey, what do you hear? What do you say? My Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Google Plus, your sister's ass, the Pony Express. I'm very ticked off, Vic here. This is going to be short and sweet. You know what ticks me off? Idiots.
Here's Vic in case you haven't seen him.
What is actually a right and what isn't a right. Now follow me. There's a viral video going around of some 60-something-year-old lady who refuses to wear a mask in a bank and refuses to leave when a cop shows up and explains to her what her rights are. And of course, some fucking morons who wear thin blue line hats and say they support the police are saying that the officer was a sheep. They are so quick to throw a law enforcement official under the bus. Hey, learn something, you fucking phony balonies. First of all, this bank is a private business. Do you also not understand the rights of a private business? Hey, lady, the bank has a rule that everyone needs to wear a mask inside. If you don't like the mask policy, take your fucking money out and go to another fucking bank. That's fucking simple. It's that simple. You get a shitty meal in a restaurant and you don't go back. You don't like your bank policy? Take the money out and move it to a bank you like. There are fucking banks on every corner in every city and town across America. Hello? So I'm reading some of the comments, and they are so moronic.
That's all fine and dandy, Vic, but we all know realistically you can't just up and switch your bank in the middle of whatever all the time. And what bank is going to allow you to come in without a mask anyway? I mean, if the bank that you're dealing with is not going to allow you with a mask, and we know how it works out there. If you don't have a mask, you ain't coming in. Why would the one down the street be any different? I mean, here in Winnipeg, every bank I go into requires you to wear a mask. So the argument that if you got a problem with this one, it's like when you go eat out. If you don't like the food, you go somewhere else. Well, it's not quite that cut and dry, Vic DiBitetto, to start with. So let's get that foolishness out of the way. Another thing, later on he states in this video that he's really pissed off. It's not one of his comedy routine rants, not one of his typical, and I believe him because he really gives it to people that don't believe in masks or whatever. I mean, is this the way we get through to people? We call everyone an idiot, a fucking asshole, a blah, blah, blah. Because, I mean, Vic, this is not good. But let's listen to the rest of Vic and see what Vic has to say here.
That it just confirms to me that too many people in this country really have no idea how the laws and our rights actually work. It's like they are children who want their toy and they want it now. The woman is the idiot, not the cop. The cop was called there by their bank employees. The woman couldn't follow the rules, not the cop. The cop was just doing his job. The woman had the right to leave and would not. The cop explained to her the reality. He didn't come in and knock her down and cuff her and drag her out. He calmly explained that this is a private business and she either has to wear a mask or she has to leave. She was arrested for not only not wearing a mask, but she resisted arrest. Put her hands on the cop and would not leave. She had a million opportunities to just leave, but no. Like many of you fucking witless fucking boneheads who think the world revolves only around you. She had to fight and scream and make the police officer's job so much harder because she had to be the maskless princess who doesn't have to follow rules and laws. Hey, look, you don't want to wear a mask? Fine. But don't go into a private business that demands you wear a mask. It's like, do you want someone to walk into your private home and shit on your couch? No? You see how that works? The cop did the right thing. He's there to enforce the law, whether you like that law or not, and whether you think he's a sheep or anyone who wears a mask is a sheep or not isn't the issue here. He's a law enforcement officer, and he was called to the bank because this fucking woman wouldn't listen and wouldn't wear a mask and wouldn't leave when she was asked multiple times because she thought her shit don't stink and she's above the law.
Now, I didn't see the video of this woman or whatever, what he's talking about, but the way he's going on, I would assume he's probably exaggerating a bit. Perhaps the woman wouldn't leave. Maybe she was arguing her right to do her banking or whatever. She probably wasn't putting up a big fight with fists and whatever. I don't know. I haven't seen the video. Either way, what right does this man have to come on and say that his point of view or their point of view, the people who believe that we should wear masks, their point of view is correct? Why does he have that right? He has the right to sit there and tell you that if you don't like something too bad, don't go there, get out, otherwise do it. Well, you know, where do our rights, what rights do we have? Where do our rights come in for us? Because we should have the right to breathe air if we want, without being muzzled with a diaper over our face. Because I don't care what you say. I'm witness to it. I have to wear one at work. It does. It stifles your air. It does get hard to breathe after a while. I know I couldn't wear one when I was moving in here and we were lugging furniture back and forth. Because I was getting breathless. I had to take it off. So, I mean, I understand that the mandates are there. And the government has put these mandates in place, and in order to get around having to take the blame or the responsibility of having them enforced on the people, they threaten our businesses, our businessmen and women, with fines, and hefty fines at that, and tell them that if they don't enforce their decrees, then they will fine them, put them out of business or whatever. So they're scared shitless and they decide they have to do this, otherwise they could. But as an individual, What, we have no right to go anywhere and shop because it's private property? And they can ask anyone to leave? So really now they have the right to discriminate who they're going to serve? Is there no laws out there that covers us? I mean, here in Canada, we were supposed to have exemption laws without having to prove that you are exempt because it's your medical right to not have to disclose all of your medical information to anyone. So anyone could have walked in and say they were medically exempt, and it should be absolutely fine according to the laws and rights that we're given here in Canada. Now, of course, we've got lawyers out there that tell us that, no, you don't have the right. The business has the right and the government has the right. You don't have the right. And then we have lawyers on the other side that says, no, the government doesn't have the right and the businesses doesn't have the right. The individual has the right. Here we are as individual laymen that the lawyers can't even figure out who's right and who's wrong. And we're supposed to figure out what's right and what's wrong and what we can do and what we can't, how we can fight this tyranny. How do we fight a tyranny if we don't even have anyone that understands it? The laws are so screwed up that the lawyers don't get it. The politicians don't. The lawmakers themselves don't understand it. There's so many laws and sub-laws and bylaws, and so what do we have at our disposal as individuals to fight back with? Where is our weapons? I mean, the laws should be simple enough that the average man knows what his rights are and when they're being infringed and when he can do something about it. But as it stands, it seems like we don't know. We have no one there telling us anything. We're getting information from one side, another side, that side, and it's all different. So now the simple fact that you want to go out and exercise your right to breathe freely and shop for things that you need, for necessities, is no longer a right. According to Vic DiBitetto, we're supposed to listen to the laws, and the law says we have to wear a mask. We have no right in that business because it's a private business. They have the right to do whatever they want. They have the right to refuse anyone. Discrimination at large is what it is. They wrote laws against discrimination back, 40, 50 years ago, whenever. And now they've got laws that allow discrimination at will. And if we decide as anti-maskers or anti-vaxxers that we're not going to wear a mask, but we still have a right to the necessities of life and we try to exercise those rights, we've got people like Vic DiBitetto telling us we don't have that right. Go the fuck home. Basically what he's saying is go the fuck home and die. So I went searching around, and I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a layman who works for a living. But I went searching around, and I did come up with a few things. One video in particular that someone left on Facebook, and it came up in my feed. I'll play that, and it's from Rebel News.
Hey, look.
I'll find that now.
This isn't a rant.
Yeah, it isn't a rant. This is where he tells us it isn't a rant. He's really pissed off. Okay, so this next video, hopefully this will give us some answers as to what we can do and what our rights are. And this comes to us from our very own Rebel News here in Canada. And it's called No Store Policy Can't Include No Mask Exemptions.
We can't breathe!
Sir?
Get out of my store right now. Get out of my store. Get out of my store. You're not wearing a mask.
You're not wearing a mask. If Canadian Tire employees want to deny people their rights and ignore mask exemption laws, then people need to hear about it. I'm sorry, but hiding behind it's private property, bro, and it's store policy, man, well, that's just not how it works. For the last year, the Rebel News inbox has been flooded with examples of stores and restaurants not abiding by mask bylaws in regards to exemptions. Now, most of the bylaws are copy and paste from each other because our politicians are lazy, you know that. But they all allow for exemptions. Take Toronto, for example, the biggest city in the country. Exemptions include people with medical conditions, those who can't put a mask on or take it off by themselves, and children under 2, which of course is still insane. Pay particular attention to this next part in the legislation. The policy shall not require employees or members of the public to provide any proof of the exemptions set out in Section 2A. You'll find basically the same thing in every bylaw. The reason you're not supposed to ask is because the teenager working at the grocery store shouldn't determine who is allowed to use a wheelchair or say, "Excuse me, miss, I don't think you need that seeing eye dog. I'm going to call the police if you don't leave right now." I'm pretty sure that was all covered in a PSA from 1985, by the way. But that doesn't stop this from happening all the time. Remember Betty Wilson? Back in September, she was denied entry to a McDonald's in Trenton, Ontario for not wearing a mask. Why was this bigot not wearing a mask, you ask? Because she dared to require oxygen.
You have to have some sort of face covering.
So this is in direct violation with the health unit mandate. Are you aware of that?
We've actually been contracted with the health unit, and they're okay with it.
I said, pardon? They said, you have to leave. I said, why? She said, because you aren't wearing a mask. I said, I don't have to wear a mask. I said, and she said, get out of my store.
The Big Carrot is a health food store in Toronto, so definitely they have to follow the mask bylaw we showed you. But I guess the Big Carrot knows what's better for you than you do. Earlier this month, when Giovanni and his elderly mother tried to exercise their rights, the staff of the Big Carrot attacked them. Take a look at this.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to ask you to leave, unfortunately, or put on your mask.
No, we're not leaving.
You will not be served at the checkout. So
Well,
you
I'm
can
going to
get
go
your
over
items.
there and I'm going to try my luck.
I'm also going to call the police if you want
That's
to, because
fine.
we're asking you to leave private property.
It's not
and you're
private property.
refusing.
You're licensed by the city, open to the public.
You're not allowed to film in here. Turn it off now,
Of course
please.
you can film. What?
Turn it off.
Don't touch me.
Do
Don't
not
touch
film
him.
me. I'm
Don't
working.
The woman at the store attacks the guy with the
Guys, I'm
camera.
gonna
You're going to get assaulted.
I'm assaulted?
You're just assaulted.
Assault.
I'm
Call the
that
police.
assault. Hold
That's
on.
assault.
Yeah, and we're within our rights to do that.
My rights don't end where your opinion begins.
It's not an opinion, it's our
Correct.
policy.
It's not an opinion, it's our policy. Oh, is that how it works? What if a store policy was, we don't allow disabled people in the store? Is that against the law, or is that just my magical policy that means you have to do what I say? You heard them, folks. Put a mask on or you must get out. Now, you would think the City of Toronto must follow the exemption rules. They made them up. They're their rules. Think again. Here's a City of Toronto bus driver saying he's being harassed after a passenger dared to try to speak to him after the driver put the bus out of service because he wouldn't put on a mask. For everyone's safety, of course.
At some point, you're gonna want to see other people smile, right? I'm not in your personal space. You have a plexiglass divider. Thank you. But nice try.
This guy's harassing me. He's in my personal space, he says behind his magical plexiglass shield. Keep in mind that whole interaction is less than 3 minutes long. Stay away from me, peasant. I work for the government. But wait, there's more from Toronto's finest. Here's the very same driver, not wearing his mask over his mouth, illegal of course, followed by apparently some sort of supervisor, not a naval officer as it may appear, claiming it is illegal to film him outside without his permission.
It's illegal to take pictures or videotape people without permission.
It's public interest, though.
It's
I'm
not
a journalist.
public interest. If I can call the police and just have them tell you to videotape.
You can call the police. That's fine.
No other single store or establishment has resulted in more complaints than the hardware/big box store Canadian Tire. It's a
Oh, I've
national
dealt with
chain.
them.
Rebel News has received over 100 emails regarding possible human rights violations against the chain. Here's a viral video coming from Burnaby, British Columbia, where a customer was put in a chokehold by loss prevention security for not wearing a mask.
Put a handcuff on his hand. Red chair free!
Put your hand behind your
Red
back.
chair free!
Hands you can talk. Put your hand behind your back. Put your hand behind your back.
Even if he didn't have a mask exemption, that doesn't mean that the people meant to call police on mouthwash thieves get to use jujitsu on you. You'll also likely notice that the proper mask wearing and social distancing doesn't seem to matter when Canadian Tire employees are attacking you. This is just one.
So there you go. That's report from Rebel News. And that's our alternative media here in Canada, one that's actually doing some serious reporting. Well, as serious as they can afford, I guess. 'Cause I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm human too. I watch their channel, but I get a little tired of listening to the same old thing over and over by Ezra Levant there, and they're after us, and yeah. Just report the shit. We heard the story about you on the last video. Do we have to hear it every video afterwards? I like Rebel News, but Ezra sometimes gets a little to listen to. But anyway, that doesn't matter. The point is, we have rights, and we have to know what they are in order to fight the tyranny. So, all I can say to that is we all have to do our due diligence, look into things, do the research, so that when we walk into a store, we know the argument to give back in order to be within our right and to hold on to that right. Because we should have the right to go into a store and get the necessities for life that we need in our life without having to be hindered in our breathing. So Vic DiBitetto, I understand some of the argument, yes, and I don't know the laws in the US. I don't know them here in Canada even. However, at some point there's got to be the right of the individual to be able to secure his necessities he needs in life without being hindered and told what to wear as far as medical devices go. Now, I did look up a site here under the Canadian government, and the masks, wearing a mask is considered a medical device under the, under the first medical device. They have 3 stages of medical devices anyway. It falls under the first stage of medical devices, so it does count as a medical device. And I'm not sure on all the laws and what's written there, but I do believe that it's in our right to not have to, or it's in our right that stores and places of business are not allowed to require you to wear a medical device against your will. Why should we have to wear or put on any medical device against our will? For what purpose? Then, of course, there's hundreds and thousands of stories out there of how this virus is slowly slowing down and the variants aren't as bad and the vaccine will take care. Well, if this is the case, then the masks should be done away with as it is, but we're still wearing them. And they're telling us it's looking like we're going to have to wear them for a while. So I don't know about what you guys think out there, but anyway, I just thought I would touch on that, and I had a few things written down here I was going to say about the Vic DiBitetto video, but once I found the other one, I kind of threw it aside and just went off the cuff. But I see so many people out there like Vic DiBitetto telling everyone else, yelling at them what they have to do and what they're supposed to do, and how they're terrible people if they don't listen to what the government tells them. And it's just so sad to see that we're heading back down that road again. So hopefully we can all wake up to the insanity and put a stop to it. But it's going to take people demanding their right to breathe air, their right to shop without a mask, their right to hug their loved ones if they want to, their right to travel freely. They've taken all of our rights away now for over a year, and there's still people out there hollering, they should be taking our rights away even more. These dummies don't want to stop, so they have to take our rights until they learn. What are we, children? Send us to our rooms? We've been grounded for over a year. And they're telling us that we need more punishment? Come on, people. Enough is enough. So, anyway, I'll do a little more digging, see what I can find in the actual laws, because like I said, I don't understand the law. I'm not a lawyer, and from what I can see, the lawyers don't understand it either, so don't feel bad out there if you don't get it. It's a tough one. How do you fight the system when you know the system's fucking you over? When the system's fucking you over to the point where it doesn't allow you to fight back. And people like Vic DiPotetto are willingly going along with it and helping them. And we have many Nazis out there like that. Right in your own neighborhood. Probably your neighbor, probably right in your own family. Willing to support this bullshit and demand that you do what you're told. And then they get out there and virtue signal and say, I'm a good little citizen, I'm a good person to have in your society because I listen to everything that you tell me to do. So, yeah, well, they're after you too, Vic DiPotetto. You just don't know it. So, I guess if you don't want anyone out there fighting the system and demanding better for us as a society, then I guess just keep telling everyone they have to listen to what the government says. Because how do you fight the government if you're going along with them? And if everyone's going along with them, well, I'll leave it up to you guys. Anyway, hit the like button down below if you want. Hit the dislike button too. I don't give a shit either way. You can't insult me. You can't offend me by hitting the dislike button. First off, I'd have to value your opinion before I could be offended. So we'll allow you to do what you want. Other than that, have a good night.